Well, Heidi-ho, Internet. It is hot, I am naked, and I have a nice big glass of water here to stay hydrated because, ooh, is it hot in here. And today, we are having a naked blog where we talk about music. Hydrate. It's not helping, it's just smoldering in this room. Anyway, and you could just see the little bit of my camera light there. So, the lovely Trisha Hirschberger had one of her friends on who was also very lovely, and they talked about what music this friend of hers made, and then asked the audience here, what kind of music would we make if we could? Now, to give you some background, I believe I've done 3 years of musical theater all told. I actually lettered as a vocalist in high school. Just like you might letter in, say, football or baseball, I lettered in music and water polo. So that was the thing. I didn't even know you could letter in music until I did so, but I never got a letterman. I lettered in music. So, it is hot. I have ice in my mouth. Now I have ice in my stomach. Did you know that ice is the only thing you can actually eat that's negative calories? Well, cold water technically is negative calories too, but ice is cold water. So if you eat ice, you swallow ice cubes. Don't do this because you might choke. But if you do that, it takes your body energy to warm them up. So it's negative calories. And this is a heavy glass of water. So, now, to tell you the truth, I have made music. I actually was once in something of a band. I was working security at a club at the time. This was back around the turn of the century. And we were called Chicken. We had songs about chicken. Problem is that we didn't have any permanent musicians, and well, we just weren't very dedicated. Yeah, dedicated. That's what we weren't. We weren't dedicated. It is just smoldering to this throat, and I'm drinking too fast. Oh dear. So there's that. Now, in addition, because I've done musical theater, I wrote at least one play, 2 plays. One was a one-act and one was a full-length that had singing in them, but they were not necessarily musicals. And then I have written about 30 or 40 pages of a film that is a musical, which was called Hollywood Zombie. And Hollywood Zombie was a film about how Hollywood wants to create zombies so that their established talent can never die. Because let's face it, there aren't enough new faces in major films. I don't know if you guys got that. And isn't my hair just atrocious? I mean, look at that, seriously. It's just all over the place. It's like a coral reef growing on my head. So, you know, I did that, and I never finished it. Thought it was quite funny. In one of the books, I'm still working on it, called Scars of Isaacs. There's a number of songs that are mentioned and sung, very similar to, you know, The Lord of the Rings, where they sing, not in the films, I mean, but in the books themselves, where there is singing involved, and they talk about, I mean, one of the things to create a complete world, if you really want to create a complete world, you talk about the media of that world. There are obviously books, and there are comic books, and there are songs, and in the Scars of Isaacs, they talk about books that exist only in the universe of the novel, and there are comic books that exist only in the universe of the novel, and so on and so forth. Oh, hot. So, there's that. And in addition, at my work, we actually have a sound studio where, we do work on music, and I have actually proposed this, and I don't know where it's going, but I have proposed doing a version of Guns N' Roses' November Rain. I think it's Guns N' Roses. Not dead sure, but I've never been big on music, to be honest with you. I've never followed bands, but I do believe it is Guns N' Roses' November Rain in the style of Johnny Cash's Hurt. So that's what I wanted to do. It's kind of crazy. I'm kind of crazy. And I just said, hey, wouldn't it be cool to do a very felt version of Hurt? Because it's one of the things that happens to me a lot when I'm dealing with the music people at my work, is despite the fact that I know very little about music, even with my involvement in it, they find my input very helpful. And I mean, I'll give you an example. There was a time they were working on that song Soul Sister. I believe it's Soul Sister. Don't know the artist. But it's, they were singing it, and it wasn't matching up with the instruments. It's like, it seems like it's going slow. And, I turned in there and I said, look, this is your problem, it's called the attack, which is the beginning of the note, the beginning of the singing, and the beginning of the music. It's the timbre of your attack, essentially. So it's like right at the beginning, where the sound starts is referred to in musical terms as the attack. And, they were singing in a very normal term, which was, hey, soul sister. That's not right. Hey, soul sister, I don't want to miss a single thing you do. And this is a song that has to be felt. You cannot sing it without feeling it. So it's, hey, soul sister, I don't want to miss a single thing you do tonight. And you lose about a half a count, I think it is. I'm doing it terribly because I don't have the music and I haven't warmed up my voice, but it's that hey at the beginning, the jump, essentially, in music. And it's what's happening in this moment here is you have a person seeing somebody who is not their biological relative, but is essentially the love of their life, so close to them that they are now family. And I believe we had a woman singing this. It's traditionally a man, but we had a woman singing this. So you're basically, if you're seeing one of your girlfriends, you're a girl, you're seeing one of your girlfriends, you love this person, they're very close to you, and then suddenly you see them, it's the kind of expression that you would get. It's that closeness. So one of the things you have to understand about Americans tend to have a very performance-based, someone's using the restroom, performance-based idea of music. In Africa, music is actually considered a living thing. When you start a song, it is a living thing, and in fact an instrument, many African instruments have faces on them that face the person using the instrument, and that is because the instrument has a soul, and the playing of the instrument is a duet between the player and the instrument. So it's one of those things to think about music. You should think of it as being a very living thing, being very much alive. There goes that door again. And this is what you must understand when you're singing. You're not just singing, you're feeling the music. You are expressing something. This is not necessarily the same in, for example, choral sounds, where you have a large chorus of people singing, but in rock music particularly, and the more modern forms, the vocalist tends to be mimicking the distinct instrument. So like for rock and roll, it's the electric guitar normally that the vocalist is singing, and he is feeling the music, and this is the voice. But then the drums and the percussion wind up being the heartbeat of the song, and this tends to sync up, the heartbeat of the listener tends to sync up with the heartbeat of the drums. So it's like a great example, another place where music is used is the film Jaws. We all remember how great Jaws was. Well, that da 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 da, that's a heartbeat. So that is a heartbeat speeding up, telling the audience danger is near. Your heart is pounding because of that music. And then, of course, there is an appropriate payoff to that. And this is why you are living this film. Because the music is drawing you in, it's affecting your body in a way that permits you to live with the characters and to feel the tension. Anyway, that's all of my horrific opinion on music. I hope you folks have a good day. I have to go film an audition for people who want to know about fat. So I'm going to go off film an audition about fatness. Because I'm fat and they're going to pay me $300 to talk about being fat. So, wish me luck.